Video games are for nerds. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about them. That's why you're listening to The Week in Gaming, the only gaming podcast that breaks down the last 7 days and tears games apart from the inside. Ugh. So forget your worries, open your ears, and join Simon Miller and a co-host for the entertainment chatter you need. Also, screw Dark Souls.
Hello, welcome to The Week in Gaming. My name is Simon Miller, and you're probably looking at your calendars right now and going, this is not Monday, it's Tuesday, and you'd be 100% correct, but that's just the world we're in, that's life. Life comes at you, you duck, you dip, you dive, you dodge, and as long as you get back to the routine, eventually, that's what matters, that's what we're doing. If you have just stumbled across this podcast, as you probably figured out, it is a weekly gaming podcast about games, hence why it's called The Week in Gaming. Now, I'm assuming that a lot of people listening to this are big gaming fans, so you know right now GamesCom 2018 has started, and all the publishers have decided to go nuts. So we're just going to talk about that. And at this juncture, I will introduce my always co-host now, my man Sam. Sam, how are you today? I know you're busy. I know I'm asking you that. You're really busy.
Really, really busy. Gamescom is crazy. I'm not sure what it's like at E3 because I haven't covered it from home. But
it's always harder at home. Here's some insight for people listening. Obviously, I used to do loads of game stuff, less these days. Sam is right in it at the moment. It's actually harder to cover a conference this end than it is when you're there, because when you're there, you don't know half the stuff that's been announced. And when you leave, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about any of this stuff, because you live in a bubble. Whereas now, especially with the internet and social media, if you're trying to cover it, you just get inundated with stuff, and it can actually be quite intimidating at times, I find.
Yeah, I mean, I sat outside the Xbox conference at E3, and I'm still to this day finding out stuff that was announced.
So good. I do want to point out that at no point is that me moaning. I cannot stand it when people moan, I had to go to E3, I had to go to Gamescom. Okay, well, one, and I know it's hard work, but come on now. And two, you don't have to do it. Get a different job. But that's neither here nor there. So what we're going to do is, we're basically going to do a Gamescom preview / in progress chat. Essentially, because, a lot of stuff is going to come out over the next 24 and 48 hours. It's like we just said, it's impossible to keep up with all of it because who knows? Some people may be holding off announcements and as they wait until the craziness dies down. Where do you want to start? I want to start with Shenmue. That's where I want to start. I'm not going to lie, I hate Shenmue. Hate it. I think it's an absolute atrocious video game. I would implore everyone to go and watch my mock review of it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MillerReport rules. That really wound people up. To this day, I'm astounded that people don't understand that I'm just being sarcastic. Even then, that was just a jab because I want some people to hear it and go, what? I think Shenmue's fine. It's just not a game for me. Obviously, the remastered collection came out today, if you're listening to this on day one. The major piece of feedback I'm hearing is it's not really you shouldn't even call it a remaster. You should just call it a re-release because basically all they've done is figured out a way to put it on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and the PC.
I actually playing Shenmue 1 and 2 as part of the remastered collection.
Is that a fair statement? This is second-hand information, but would you say that was fair?
Well, I've not played the original. So that makes it very hard to judge.
Does it look wank? I guess if it still looks wank, then you've got to assume they haven't done anything. Or does it look like it sits nice and pretty on your Xbox One, PS4, whatever?
I think it performs better, but it's still very much a game from that era.
Well, I personally think it's been boring since day one. I'm not trying to be horrible.
It is well boring, isn't it?
It is boring.
I don't want to be like, am I missing something? Because I'm just talking to dudes who direct me to other dudes to talk to in an endless loop.
I respect the fact that... I'm trying to get the right words, but look, I respect the fact that they had the balls to make a game where you do approach it all at your own pace and where really you don't do that much. You essentially just live in the shoes of Ryo Hazuki, whatever his stupid name is. And in a way, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I think that's why people have such an affiliation with it, especially Ryu himself, because you're basically living his life, right? And I get why people would enjoy that. With that said, if you're not into all of that, it's just so dry and it's so slow. And you've got this whole what's the word I'm looking for? But this whole story about a dead father and revenge, and it never goes anywhere apart from sort of after 7 hours of going around doing your laundry.
Yeah, it's It's a very lovely game. It's got a lot to love, but it's one of those games where if you don't like what it's trying to do, you won't like it at all. And I think it's just not for me. After an hour of it, I was like, I think I've got to an assessment of this, and it's a no for me.
It's so slow. It is so slow. But yes, I mean, all the stuff I do on my YouTube channel mostly is just joke stuff. But if you do want to go get wound up by it, you can. YouTube.com/Middle Report rules. I'd appreciate you having a look, but you obviously can do whatever you want. Anyway, tying into Gamescom, they finally announced the release date, which I think is stupid because, as I've said since day one, I think this is going to be a rocky. I would not. If I was in charge of Shenmue 3, it's August 27th, 2019. So basically a year. Yeah. They're announcing a release date a year out, which says to me straight away that rings alarm bells. Who announces a release date? Well, I guess some people do. It just seems too specific to me. And given it's been delayed so many times, and given all the problems they've already had with it, I don't know. This smells like a worry to me, in my opinion. Anyway,
I don't know much about the development side of things. Is something that not everyone knows about unless you've been in development. But
true. Oh yeah.
You sort of wonder, like, it can't be anywhere near ready if you're announcing it this soon. So how can you put any date on it, if you know what I mean? Because if people announce a release date 3 months away, you could see that they've probably got a roadmap ahead and that they know that 3 months is feasible. But can you really plan out the development for a year? Like, that seems, like you say, it seems a bit too far in the future to be trustworthy,
I just think, I think, and I know this sounds overly negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just casting worries where I believe they need to be cast. That's what I'm doing. And I'll wind up Shenmue fans until the cows come home because they are so funny. Like, for example, one of the comments I got on that Shenmue video, which is basically a joke video about how Gears of War was better. That's how stupid it was. Somebody wished death upon me. Now, that I find hilarious because it's just it's so outrageous in the best possible way. But outside of that, looking at it from a critical point of view, everything you just said, Sam, it just seems like Plan B has been executed. Well, we can announce a release date now from a year out. That gives us a year to try and get it in the shape that we want it to. And, we're confident developers, so fingers crossed we can actually achieve that. Can we? I don't know. And I don't know whether you've seen the trailer, but it doesn't look like gameplay to me. Could be. I don't know. But it certainly doesn't give me any more information that I didn't have before. And I'm just worried that this is a project that was, done at the Sony press conference, however many years ago it was now, to try and, win favour with the gaming public. And now here we are 3 years on or whatever it is, and it's starting to backfire because they've realised that it's a project that really can never live up to expectations because of the magnitude of the whole thing.
Yeah, you wonder though, like, they've got to be smart. Like, they've got to sat down and be like, if we put a release date on this and don't hit it again, then it would just be ridiculous. So if I was them, I'd be like, I am not putting a release date on it until we definitely hit at that release date.
Yeah, I want them to hit it. I want Shenmue fans to play this and it'd be the best thing ever because I get nothing from somebody not enjoying a video game. I will wind you up when you go crazy. I will do that. There's no point pretending otherwise. But I want you to enjoy a really good Shenmue experience. Of course I do. That's what video games are all about. They're escapism. They're fun. I'm just saying, when I heard the news and I watched the trailer, I was like, was my initial response. Right, Sam, we'll play tennis here. Where do you want to go next? In the Gamescom.
I want to go to Supermassive Games.
I thought you would. Right. So I, as we just said, it's hard to keep up with everything. But I will say I'm a very, very big fan of Supermassive Games. I don't even like scary games, but I think Until Dawn was wonderful. And it was such a good game to play with people, especially that don't usually play games, because it was so easy to understand, and everybody understands the tropes of a cabin in the woods story. And Supermassive Games did that thing where they didn't take themselves seriously at all, and because they played up to stereotypes, it actually made it incredibly fun, incredibly entertaining. And they did something few developers can do, and they made the scares enjoyable. They were entertaining. They weren't horrific like PT, where I want to kill myself. Now, as we have been discussing this, I've watched it and I've caught up, but I know that it struck a chord with you, so I don't want to steal your thunder. What is it about the Dark Pictures Anthology, I think it's called? What is it about that got you?
So the series is called The Dark Pictures, and the first episode, which will release next year, is called Man of Medan.
Of course it is.
No idea. But basically, it's a a game. I won't say it's a game. The first in the series is a game. It's a short. Each one of them is a short horror game, and I think that sort of suits Supermassive because I think Until Dawn could have done with being half the length. That would have improved it.
I agree. I totally agree.
So I think it's going to work on the same sort of tropes, like little, when you get a TV series of horror things, and like each one is 10 minutes or whatever. It's sort of the same sort of story. You don't have to commit to trying to package a full price game. But this one is about 4 American students, Far Cry 3 style, looking for a World War II plane. And there's not much you can go on from the trailer, but you play as all 5 people on the boat, including the captain. And it's classic Until Dawn. Their stories intertwine, replayability, endings. They can die, they can not die, depending on your choices. And all you see is like a point where someone's like, "Hey guys," and then there's some creepy woman behind him. So we don't know.
I saw that literally about 25 seconds ago. I just had it on background. Oh my gosh, it is absolutely horrific. I mean, in trailer form, it's not that bad, but when you sort of picture yourself in a dark room playing it by yourself, and then that happens, and it's the way that this woman goes from a normal woman to becoming like some kind of zombie in 3 milliseconds. That's going to shit me right up. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, and it looks just amazing because I think it seems like Until Dawn's formula, but just with another story, which is great. If you know what you do it again and again. But it's just like we don't know much about it right now, but I'm glad they've gone with an anthology style because I would like to see lots of different ideas from Supermassive rather than just sort of feeling they need to drag one idea out for too long.
No, I agree, and I think as well, like you just hit the nail on the head. Like no one else is really doing that kind of game.
No.
It does feel very unique when you sit down and play it. So if you do something really well, and apart from, I didn't really like the VR game they released for Until Dawn. I get why they did it. It was an on-rail shooter basically with jump scares. It was fine, but I think you've hit the nail on the head. They seem aware enough to understand that what they do works. That their last game was a little bit too long. That streamlining it a little bit is the way to go. And I just think, everything you've just said, it's got me interested straight away, obviously because of their previous work, always a good way to go. But the fact that it's going to be episodic, for lack of a better term, and kind of take you on different experiences each time, and the fact it takes place in the South Pacific and a World War II shipwreck. There's stuff there that instantly my brain goes, yep, interesting. And again, if I sit down and play this, especially with people that don't know too much about games, I think it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, and it's like, I just imagine how Until Dawn would have been if it had been a shorter, concise part of this anthology. And that's just what excites me most, because spoiler alert, when the later stages happen and the Wendigos show up, I was just a bit like, all right. Okay.
You're padding out at that point. You didn't need stuff like that at all.
Yeah, like when it was a murder mystery, it was really tight. Yeah. But then it was sort of like, oh, we're still going, are we?
Yeah, no, it's true. Again, I think that's just the case of running out of ideas and then going, well, this works. Because it always works, and it did to a certain extent. But yeah, I agree. It's like the whole David Cage games when he all of a sudden goes wishy-washy Magic Land. I much preferred it when you kept it in the realms of reality. I actually think you do that a lot better than when you go all hippy-trippy and stuff.
Yeah, So that was the dark pictures.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good, and I'd implore everyone to go and check out the trailer. If you are watching this on YouTube, which it will go up on again, youtube.com/the Middle Report Rules, I will try and find links for all of them and put them in the description so you can just click through and go and watch. But don't hold me to that because I'm really stupid and I'll forget. The other thing I noticed that people are getting mad about, and again, we've still got a week to go, at least 3 or 4 days to go. Cyberpunk 2077 released a bunch of new screenshots, but they didn't release a trailer.
Yeah.
And that seemed to upset some people, which I understand because the screenshots are... I don't want to say they're doctored, that's a negative word, but they are, designed to capture the game in the best light. That's what a screenshot is.
They're very shiny.
Exactly. And I get that. You're not going to release something that looks crap because that's not how marketing works. But I think a lot of people after E3, and this ties into the whole Shenmue thing again, just as to underline that it's not just me crapping over Shenmue. After that release at E3, which I know was a lot and it was a surprise, and it worked as a closer for an exhibition. I do think sometimes you want to have, I'm going to sound like such a nerd here, but I think sometimes you do need, especially in 2018 with social media, you do need quite a solid marketing plan to make sure that you keep goodwill on your side. I'm not saying that CD Projekt Red not releasing a trailer is a problem right now at all, and I actually think 4 screenshots is probably enough. But just in general, I'm in two worlds. I don't think you should ever get mad about a video game. I think if you wake up and the biggest problem you have is a video game, you should count your lucky stars and skip down the street eating candy. But I can also understand if you are super invested in this and you're super excited and you sort of create your expectations based on what the gaming industry has taught us, I can kind of see as well. I mean, to me, there's just a level of how mad you should get. And already I've seen some people that are way over the level of madness that they need to be. I
don't really even get it because like they had a very lengthy trailer at E3. Like that was only 2 months ago. That's fine to me if they don't release anything for Gamescom. Yeah, they could release trailers throughout the rest of the year. You don't know, but like it's only been 2 months since the very big E3 thing that got everyone spunk in their pants. So
yeah, exactly.
Be grateful for that rather than they couldn't have released anything this summer, maybe.
I think that's the problem, right? I think sometimes you've got to ask yourself, actually, is it better to go quiet? Because I think what's happened is they've drip-fed screenshots. Everyone goes, and then they realise, oh, wait, no, it's not, there's nothing else. But look, there's not even a release date yet. This could be I think it is a next-generation game. So, you know, there could be a long time before we see anything else. But yeah, I mean, I think it was something worth addressing because I know a lot of people are excited about that. And so if you are
upset, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, if you are waiting for Cyberpunk information and you stumbled across this podcast, there's nothing yet as of me saying these words.
Yeah, and they upset a lot of people with their tweet as well.
What was their tweet? I know about the tweet. Fill me in.
Well, someone tweeted, "Why are there so many guys here?" And they went, "Did you just assume their gender?" And obviously, that wasn't a very smart tweet to put out in this day and age. So a lot of people were just like, "That was a bit ill-judged," and I think it was a bit ill-judged.
Yeah, it's not the smartest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Well, look, that's the world we live in. You've got to be smart on social media these days. Really, really smart.
Yeah.
Right, Sam, back to you. I had Cyberpunk, technically. What have you got?
Oh, I'm not ready.
I'm ready. You want me to jump in?
Go on.
I've got a really loser one. Because
Sounds great.
No one else is going to agree with this. But, I mean, as far as I can tell, by, doing, looking around, Luigi's Mansion is coming to the Nintendo 3DS on October the 19th. Now, no one cares about this. Because Luigi's Mansion is a franchise that more or less is dead these days, especially because Luigi himself has passed away. But also, the 3DS, mostly because of the Switch. I mean, I love my 3DS. My 3DS is one of my favorite consoles ever. I think it's wonderful. And I think some of the games on it are tremendous. But I don't know. It's just announced. It's one of those Nintendo announcements that come out and I've gone, I could have lived without this. It makes no difference to me. But I'm glad that you have done it. I'm going to get it. It gives me a reason to go pick that console up again, which at the moment is in the corner gathering dust, which I don't like because I love it. The game itself is flawed, but it is kooky in a good way. And it's one of those games that I'd rather be able to have on my Switch. So if I do want to play it again, I haven't got to go back to my GameCube or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those Nintendo announcements where I don't think they're going to announce much else massive during Gamescom. It doesn't really seem. I know there's a few things that they've announced, but it's not. Yeah, I don't think Nintendo's going to announce anything huge because they do their directs, obviously. I mean, they also did announce that Saints Row the Third is coming to Nintendo Switch, which was a bizarre announcement. I mean, if you like Saints Row the Third, great. But I mean, that game came out in what, 2011? I think, or 2012, something like that. I don't know. I assume it's based on that one. I don't think it's anything different. It is a good game, but I mean, that's my point being is that is what I think Nintendo are using Gamescom for. Little trinkets like that. And yeah, I just liked it. I don't care about Saints Row 3. I certainly do care about having a reason to go back to my 3DS, and I respect the fact that Nintendo are still pimping out that console. Good for you. Good for you, Nintendo. Yep. You make me happy. You always make me happy.
Given up on it like the Vita, but nah.
Yeah, I would have really liked that as well. I can understand that. Wouldn't be too mad. Like, the Switch is smashing it. That's what most companies do, but they don't. They stick with it. And exactly like you said, the Vita is dead, but the 3DS continues to rock on. So yes, that's the other one I wanted to throw out there. I've caught you again, Sam, haven't I? You're like, wait, no. No.
I've got it. It's Life is Strange 2.
What? Okay, so you got me now. What came out?
Oh, mate, a whole trailer. A whole gameplay section. We know what it's about now, rather than just that teaser that showed nothing.
Hit me. So
the teaser showed just a dash cam of a police officer getting into a confrontation. That's all we saw. And it turns out that this Life is Strange is about two brothers who go on the run after the older brother clashes with a police officer. We don't know all the ins and outs, but we see the younger brother holding a newspaper clipping of a shooting in Seattle, which is, of course, where Max moved to in Life is Strange. And yeah, that's all we know. So it's two brothers on the run together. moving to, I think it's New Mexico. And yeah, it's just this interaction with very real events. It seems to be continuing. I haven't watched the gameplay trailer yet, so that might reveal a few more story details. But yeah, it looks very good. It looks very charming. The composer's back again, which is great because Life is Strange's soundtrack was amazing. So yeah, Life is Strange 2 is one I'm very excited about as well, even though I haven't finished Life is Strange or Before the Storm.
Well, I think the fact that you're interested in it goes to show you're probably enjoying those games, right? I mean, that's the main thing. Has it got a release date, Life is Strange 2?
Next month is the first episode.
Oh, really? That soon? Okay, well, there you go. So you can.
I was surprised as well. I was like, oh, damn.
It's just
get going.
It's one of those games that on paper I should be interested in, but again, it hasn't got me yet. Not saying it's not going to, but at the moment I'm like, man, I'll play it one day and maybe go, oh, can't believe it. But
I find it hard with episodic games because I don't really like playing them as they come out. I'd rather just wait for the full season, get the package that they inevitably do, and then just play them all.
I'm the same now. Ever since I did that with, really, ever since I did it with The Walking Dead, the first series, exactly how I did it. It was much better just being able to finish and click through. You want to Netflix it, don't you? That's what you want to do, which kind of defeats the point of episodic games. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something in that.
As a side note, have you played the final season's first episode of The Walking Dead?
No, I haven't. It's out now, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll probably wait. I haven't had any buzz about it though, which is probably worrying. I mean,
people were just saying like, yeah, it's quite good.
It's not really what you want from the final season of a game. But the problem is they smashed it, didn't they? They smashed it with the first one, and once you do that, what do? You just try and do it again.
But you can't do it.
It's sometimes I think they should have retired. I think sometimes you just capture lightning in a bowl. It's how I mean, this is why going off on a tangent, and then maybe we'll get more information about this week. I don't know. But it's kind of how I feel about The Last of Us. But they've actually been quite smart, Naughty Dog, because I did a bit of watching of all the Naughty Dog of The Last of Us 2. It does look very different from the first game. I think they're going to switch a lot of it up, and I actually think it's going to be a sequel in name. And obviously, if you've played the first one, you're going to enjoy the hints and the characters. But I don't think it's going to play. I think it will play the same, but I don't think it will follow a similar trajectory as the first. I think it's a sequel in name only. And I actually think that will be good because I think that first one just captured what it wanted to do so well. It's funny, Last of Us is entering that place now where, with revisionist history, everyone's saying it was overrated and rubbish. And I'm like, I'm not saying you have to like it, but it certainly wasn't overrated. It certainly wasn't rubbish. I'll say that it was not a rubbish video game by any stretch of the imagination.
A lot of people if you say it's an 8 out of 10, like I call it an 8 out of 10, people do say, so you're saying it's rubbish then? I think. So I think that's what a lot of people, when people are just like, I can't believe people say it's rubbish. I don't think anyone really says it's rubbish. It's just when people say it's like, oh, I just didn't like it as much as some people. So you hate it then. It's pretty much what
you're right. On. But we'll have to do a podcast on the scoring system one day and how broken it is. It really is. The scoring system really is absolutely diabolical, but that's nothing new. It's been that way for years. I mean, I remember when 7 out of 10 was considered average. Now 8 out of 10 is average. So it's just... I don't know. Anyway, also at Gamescom, the zombie sort of love-in with video games continues. World War Z actually got shown off, which I was surprised about. Is
that the one with the hordes of zombies in there?
I mean, look, the trailer, if you like zombies, go and watch the World War Z trailer out now. It's about 2.5 minutes long. I mean, to me, it looks like Left 4 Dead on, I don't know, acid. Would be the way I go for. I mean, when I say I don't think it's going to be as well refined or as smart as Left 4 Dead, but what I mean is in terms of that over the top, thousands of zombies coming at you at once. I don't think it's going to play or be. I shouldn't have said Left 4 Dead. That's a terrible comparison. It won't be as good as Left 4 Dead. More like Dead Island. I think is probably a better comparison. But there are some incredible shots in it of what looks like. I mean, at least hundreds, if not thousands, of zombies in some of these rundown areas. And I think if you like your kind of shooting zombie games, I mean, I don't know how it's going to run. I think the thing with those things is can it actually hold up technically? Say, what do you know, top of your head, what else has Saber Interactive done? I recognise the name. I'm going to Google it as I say this. But they've done, in my head, they did Time Shift. That's what it was. I knew there was something. And they did Shaq Fu, A Legendary Born recently. I knew there were 2 games recently. Now, as far as I remember...
2 legendary games.
But Time Shift had problems, didn't it? And Time Shift was a technical mess. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to say that. I don't know for sure. Either way, I think that's the key. The key here is the technical side of it. But it does, look, for what it sets out to do, I can't criticize it. It potentially could be a zombie fan's dream, especially given that Dead Island is persona non grata these days. Apparently still not cancelled. Is that right? Bullshit. That cannot be true. That game must be cancelled by now. And the same thing as well, Far Cry 5 obviously is getting DLC, and it is Dead Living Zombies. It's coming out August 28th, which is 1 week today. Again, I mean, I just read it's an Undead theme expansion that sees players teaming up with Guy Marvel, a D-tier film guru looking to pitch his vision for an epic zombie saga by having you battle hordes of walking corpses across various different scenarios. And if you couldn't work out, that was the press release. I mean, Ubisoft's usually quite good with DLC. Blood Dragon wasn't really my thing, but I appreciated their creativity with that. And I think, as far as I know, the last 2 expansions which they've done, everybody enjoyed. I think it was one in space and one somewhere else. I don't know. Far Cry 5.
Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, Far Cry 5 was too Far Cry for me, unfortunately, and I just checked out. Those games, it's the whole Bethesda thing we talked about here on the podcast before. It was too much like Far Cry 3 and 4. They're amazing video games, but I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm the same, really. Me and my friend, when we were like, oh, should we play Far Cry? It's like...
It feels like a chore, right? It feels like a chore, and I totally agree with that. So, so there's that. Sam, you got anything else? I mean, I got a few, but I want to tag you in as and when I can.
Resident Evil 2 got some tasty new screenshots because it's all about Claire. I don't know Resident Evil that well, but I know it's got 2 protagonists, and Claire is all about new screenshots. So Resident Evil fans will no doubt be very pleased with that. And if they pre-ordered that, I don't know, £280 special edition, then they'll definitely be pleased with that.
I mean, that game is getting so much hype. It's unreal.
Like, it does look phenomenal. I've never seen a game look that good.
True.
Right.
But given that it's a game that came out 20 years ago, I understand True. Capcom's going to town on it. But my worry is it's that classic thing again of you set your expectations and then, I mean, you can't expect too much because it is just a remaster, but it does look good and people are going nuts about it. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. When's it coming out? Is it this year? Is it next year? It's January, right? It's January 25th. Okay. I thought it was. It's that classic Capcom January. I mean, essentially, January now is just Resident Evil month. They've done that. Yep. They've done that a few times now, which I got no problem with. I got no problem with it whatsoever. But no, it does look good. And on my end, I can never pronounce this. I think it's pronounced Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice.
I don't know whether it's Sekiro or Sekiro.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Sekiro.
The second one you said sounded better than mine, so we'll go with that. Obviously, it's from Software's new game, so we'll just call it Dark Souls 4. Yeah. And it is coming out March 22nd, 2019, which again... well, I mean, it's a bit more confident than obviously Shenmue's release date. It sounds weird, but announcing a release date for Q1 of the next year at the last biggest gaming convention of 2018 makes more sense to me than because it's before. For example, right, we're going to go through another E3 and another GamesCom before we get Shenmue 3. I just want to make that clear before people go, well, that's not fair. They've obviously sneaking it in for the first quarter or the last quarter, I should say, of 2018 because it's a tax year, obviously. I don't know much about it. Obviously, that's not my thing. I don't like Dark Souls. I hate Dark Souls, if I'm completely honest. I'm more excited about what's Sony's game. This doesn't look like it, but it's more sword, Western, Japanese stuff.
Nioh 2?
No. The one, why didn't I look this up? They announced it at E3. Ghosts of Tsushima or
Ghosts
something.
of Tsushima.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I'll play that one. I won't play this one. But look, if you want it, it's coming out March 22nd, 2019, so you can look forward to that.
Yep, and loads of release dates have come out of Gamescom. That's just like the Gamescom flood of release dates, numbers, and trailers.
Do you have loads in front of you? I'll try and find them. If not, I don't know.
I've got a few. So Mutant Year Zero, which is that sort of XCOM game, XCOM style game that's released on December 4th. What else? There was one I had in my mind just now, and I have forgot it. That's really
the problem is that when you look for any kind of release dates from Gamescom, it's all Shenmue. It's all Shenmue. People have gone nuts about this Shenmue release date, which I understand. The hype for that game is real, but
Sekiro. I probably do know others, but I have mind farted it out.
It's all good, man. There's a lot going on, and there's more to come as well. Do we have conferences at this year's Gamescom? Like Microsoft
I don't know about conferences at Gamescom. I never know about that.
Microsoft are doing some live show right now, or not, at least not right now, but soon. Because I know
this second today.
I tell you what, it starts at I don't know. It kicks off at 7:30 a.m. PT. I'm gonna have to look up what that is in my time. 7 a.m. PT in still in BST at the moment, aren't we? So that is now apparently. Oh. I mean, I haven't
so much work.
I mean, I don't know what's going to be there. I mean, I can't be right because surely more would be coming Oh no, there is some stuff going on. So apparently, I know this is true. This is me, obviously, operating on the fly here. So if I say anything ridiculous, you can tell me. But apparently, they showed off Hunt Showdown, horror-themed battle royale monster game from Crytek. Oh, it's that game, right? That's coming to Xbox Game Preview. I've seen about that PUBG Xbox 1.0 release. The 1.0 release has got to be, the game works. That's got to be what it is. We fixed PUBG. It's a new map for that. Battlefield 5 had a new trailer, and the big question is there is going to be a Battle Royale game, but they haven't announced who's developing that, because apparently it's not DICE. State of Decay 2 is getting DLC, is coming out September the 12th. So is Sea of Thieves. That is getting a Forsaken Shores DLC on September 19th. They showed off Fallout 76, which apparently showed the game's camp system. I'm just going to run through these. Games coming to Steam: Recall, Zoo Tycoon, Super Lucky Tales, Disneyland Adventures, and Rush. So basically all the things that came up with the Xbox One. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is due out in 2019. They showed off some new modes. And Devil May Cry has a release date of March the 8th. And they showed some gameplay off for Devil May Cry as well. I know a lot of people are excited about that. I saw a lot of people getting mad. Also, Halo the Master Chief Collection is coming to Xbox Game Pass on September 1st. Quite good Xbox Game Pass if you don't have it. It's good value for money. DayZ has got a release on Xbox One, August the 29th, coming out on Xbox Game Preview. The Division 2 just showed a story type trailer, and that was it. And there was new gameplay from Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And apparently they demoed Forza Horizon 4. And the game's new competitive PvP trailer.
Did you mention that?
I did not mention that. I that's not in my list that I'm zooming through here. Metro Exodus seems to have gone under the radar for me. I remember the first one, everybody was so excited about it, but now I'm sure there is a community that's desperate for it. But I don't see it very much. I'm sure it'd be great as well. Those games are unique, to say the least, and the atmosphere they create is tremendous.
It seems to have a very dedicated but contained following. I don't see everyone getting excited about it, but the people who are excited about it are really excited about it, if that makes sense. And it looks really good, but it's just without having played the originals, because I have them and they're waiting in my backlog of things to play on PS4, but I'm not woo, because it looks amazing, but that's not enough to get me really hyped.
Yeah, I think to me, I played the first two games and I like them. And this is going to sound really insulting. I don't mean it to. It's just my personal preference. It was too PC shooter. And I've never really been into PC shooters. I was much more of a console shooter. Sorry. I know I'm a terrible person. Set me on fire and throw me down a well. And that one obviously comes from a PC studio. They do a great job in getting it into the Xbox One and the PS4. But because of the approach, it feels like Stalker to me, right? Which obviously it would do because it's inspired by that. But I didn't like that either. And I remember playing that thinking, this is going to be the second coming. And it was not.
Yeah.
Yes. And at the moment, I think that gets you up to date. I think that's quite a comprehensive roundup, everything that's going on at Gamescom. Now somebody will find something, but you didn't mention this, and you win. I can't fight you on that one.
Yeah, it's been so busy, and it's been one day. So
what else do you expect from the week? Do you have any predictions?
No, I can never really predict Gamescom because it's all nothing. It's all simmering but never boiling, if you know what I mean. It's all good but not mind blowing. So you never know really, because if you aim too high, then it's not going to happen. But if you it's sort of aim very middle, very humble, sort of 8 out of 10 level, and then you got the level of announcements we could expect. Because none of these have broken the internet sort of thing. They're all just oh, that's really cool. And it's nice because they're all very manageable.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Gamescom to me, usually, E3's announcements, Gamescom is gameplay. That's always the way it's kind of been to me. And I know more and more people are sort of announcing stuff at Gamescom. And I think we'll get a few things throughout the week. I really do. But to me, I think it'll be mostly information and trailers. Because, Gamescom is still way too close to E3 for me. You really want to spread them out. 6 months would be much better. But look, that's the situation we are now. Gamescom has grown exponentially over the last few years, especially. So, yeah. But I don't expect anything major, especially if Microsoft has had this showcase and they haven't said anything. That would be the time to do it. You're not going to do that and go, oh, by the way. So look, it's still going on now as far as I can tell, so maybe something comes out at the end. But I think it'll be a trailer or a release date or something. And also, what are we exactly looking forward to from Xbox right now? I don't mean that in a negative way, but they don't have anything. It's not like they can reveal anything to make us go, oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I've not got my eye on anything for Xbox. Don't even use my Xbox.
Honestly, man, it's just it's Nintendo Switch and PS4 for me. They're my go-tos. They're my go-tos.
Yeah, Gone Home is coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. That's not big news, but it's big news for me because I love that game.
But what is Nintendo's obsession with the games that came out years ago?
Yeah, I would have put Tacoma on there because that's just been released last year, the year before. But if they want to go for 2012 or 2013's Gone Home, then whatever.
Well,
sure.
Yeah, do it. Would you play it on Switch?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Would you really? You'd actually buy it again? What if it was really expensive?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to buy Diablo 3, and that doesn't even carry a profile over. It's just like, you just put anything on Switch, it's like, yes.
Fair enough. There you go, Nintendo. So you've got guaranteed money right there. Right, Sam. Is there anything else you want to talk about Gamescom, or do you want to talk about games you've been playing this week? Have you been playing any games?
I played Shenmue for a bit. I'd rather I didn't, but that's what happened.
Look, man, the game is very, very. It's very Marmite, right? You either love it or you don't. I don't get it at all. So
yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to play it for ages. I wanted to play it, see what the fuss was about. I saw it, and I saw that what was there for people to love, but it's just not for me. So it's one of those things. I'm not going to be like, this is the worst. But it's just like, yeah, it's not for me.
YouTube.com/The Miller Report rules. If you would like a video of this is the worst, but it's a joke. Please, everyone remember it's a joke. The amount of comments I got today, well, this is very negative. It's a joke. Why can't people understand jokes? It makes me sad. So what are you going to say, man? You're about to go somewhere.
I haven't actually been playing anything else. I've been sort of thinking about playing stuff because I've been out and about. So yeah, it's just been just sort of playing the usual suspects, FIFA and Fortnite. I'm that guy. So
well,
yeah.
I jumped into something, and it's a video game that I've been excited about for a very, very long time, and it crept up on me. I didn't even realize this was the week it was going to come out. Do you know what this video game is, Sam?
I'm trying to think of video games that would come out that would fit this, but go on.
Guacamelee 2.
Oh, yes.
My word. I want to give a shout out to Drinkbox Studios, who effortlessly have created an old school 2D platformer that is, of the level of anything that we used to get back in the day. I'm not including like the classics that sort of changed the game, but in terms of pure accessibility and fun and entertainment with a story that genuinely makes me laugh and great characters and so many tick boxes that I could say, it is brilliant. It is just so good. And given how good the first one was, I was a bit like, are they actually going to be able to, achieve what they did before? Because you could understand it's hard, right? The second album is always the hardest. But this is they've changed it, but they haven't changed it. And, to me, the first one was so good because the fighter mechanic it's just so it's so easy to use. And every sort of big hit you do feels like you just smashed somebody in the face with, a ton of bricks. I cannot recommend it enough. If you like, just go watch the trailer. There's no point me trying to explain it. I call it a 2D platform, but that's not doing it justice. But if you watch the trailer and think, oh, that's the kind of game that you like, you should absolutely play this. I'm not saying it's not infuriating at times. It absolutely is. Some of the platforming sections you have to do where you got to punch someone, then switch dimension, then jump up a wall, then dash, then switch dimensions again, then dash, and then hit somebody else, then move here, move there. It's like the first one, but they've moved it up no end. But it doesn't matter because it gets in your head where you're like, well, I've got to do this. I don't feel I'm getting wound up by it, but I'm not getting wound up from it in a point I don't want to play this anymore. I just want to see how good I can do. And obviously their sense of humor and just everything about it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's one of my favorite games this year. It's got a 4-player co-op, which I haven't played yet. Obviously, I only played it by myself, but it's one of those games that if no one ever played a game before, I'd say, why don't you start with Guacamelee 2? It's easy to play, hard to master, all that bullshit that makes it sound like you're falling out of a press release. I love it. I haven't finished it yet, but if someone right now burst into my house and put a gun to my head and asked me what score I give Guacamelee 2, for starters, obviously, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, this is a waste of your life. At least if you're going to threaten to kill me, do it with something good. I would give it a 10. I mean, like I said, I've got to finish it, but that is how much entertainment I get out of it. That's how happy it makes me. It's just excellent. That's all I can say. It's just an excellent video game. I say it doesn't do anything massively different the first one didn't do, but that's not a problem either.
Yeah, but that's good when developers are like, you know what, it's fine if we don't do anything different because the people loved what we did in the first one. And as long as you're not just repackaging it with different levels, then I'm all for just doing more of the same because if you know it works, then why fix it?
Oh, exactly. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism as well saying, oh, it feels all too familiar. Good. That's what I wanted. It's been, 4 years? Maybe even 5. That seems a bit extreme. Let me have a look. It's been 13, 14, 15, 16. It has been 5 years. Oh, kill me now, Sam. That's terrifying. But it has almost been... 5 years to the day since it came out on PlayStation 3. It was the 10th of April 2013, so a few months removed. But
unless the original was bad, what's the problem? Like, if you're like, oh, this feels too similar, this feels too much like this good game I played. Like, what?
I don't know. I mean, what did people want, right? What did people want? It's just some people just like to be
If it's more of good, of good is good.
And also, it's not a game that needs to innovate. It's a game that needs to entertain. Like, that's the only thing it should be trying to do. And also, yeah, I'm not going to lie, you play a pro wrestler in it. Of course it's going to help. You're a luchador. I love wrestling. So of course that's going to tie in. And it's all the peripheral characters you meet as well. Much like the GOAT in the first game, and you know what I'm talking about if you've played it. They just make you laugh. They're so silly. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, but it takes the gameplay seriously. 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000. This game is just fantastic. It makes me happy. Like, it genuinely does. Few games make me happy anymore because, I don't know, there's some kind of controversy going on around about it, or everybody shits over it, or just something that makes me go, man, why can't I just enjoy this anymore? And this doesn't do that. If anything, it's going under people's radars, which from a social media point of view is actually better, because I can just sit back and enjoy it. And I really am. I'm going to introduce it to as many people as I can, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And the fact it comes out,
and stuff.
that's what I'm going to do. It's going to treat it like a political thing. And given that it's coming out the same day as Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, I will say this: it's better. It's better than Shenmue 1. It's the best game coming out on PS4 today, and you should absolutely go and play it if you like that kind of things.
I might have to give it a go now.
Well, you're going to hate it now, and I'm going to feel bad. I like it. That's all I say. Go watch the trailers first, and make sure it's if you're listening to this right now, make sure it's that the type of game that you want to. That you look at it and it triggers something in your brain. The way I see it is, if it does that, you're going to like it regardless. It's platform heavy, it's combat heavy, and then eventually you have to start mixing the two, but it's all done in a very light-hearted also it's not eady, is my point. So, yeah, that is my favourite game of the year so far. On par with Mario Tennis, because as we all know, I love Mario Tennis. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, that's a bizarre double choice for games of the year. It's
just kiddie games. Kiddie games. Miller loves kiddie games now. I can't help it.
Did you see the Egyptian concept art for God of War?
Dude, I was so mad. I was like, that's a better game. That's a better game.
Well, okay. Well, you had to Corey Barlow to play for that, because he cast the deciding vote, because it was split between Norse and Egypt, and he had the one vote to decide it. It was like, Norse.
Did he say why he went that way?
I don't know, to specifically piss you off. I don't know.
He probably did. That's what I say to people when they get in touch with me and they say something like, why did you make this video? Specifically to make you mad. That was it. I just wanted to make you mad. But maybe that's where the next one's going. I don't know. They could do that. It's not like, you probably couldn't do that. I think you probably have to set in the same universe, but you don't know. It's not like, it's very sort of magical and whimsical, the revamped series. So I don't know. Apparently,
they wouldn't go wrong. People would buy that, so.
Apparently, the Balrog said that a Norse setting allowed for more of a focus on Kratos than an Egyptian civilization would. Now, between me and you, Sam, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. But who am I to... I'm not a game developer, so I don't know. But I don't really see how an environment would hold Kratos back. But again, what do I know? I'm not here to criticize. So yeah. I want to point out as well, before we start to wrap things up, Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 comes out next week. I'm not a big Pro Evo fan. I used to be back in the day, but I can't remember a time when there's been such little buzz for Pro Evo. I don't know anything about it. I know they lost all their licenses, or FIFA came in and took them. But yeah, it just seems dead.
Yeah, it's hard though, because they're making a lot of big fuss about these deals, which a lot of people from the outside would be like, and they're not that important, like the Brazilian League and the Russian League and the Danish League and stuff like that. And they've lost the Champions League now, and PES is a really good game. Obviously, my friends will play FIFA, so I'm not going to sit there and be like, this is a better game, I will play on my own. Because I think I'd probably prefer FIFA, even though PES is very good. And yeah, it's just a shame, though, because it sort of seems like the damage is done from, between PES 6 and let's go with PES 2015, let's say. So, yeah, it's just a shame, because it is a good game, but you don't have the players, then what could you do?
That's the issue. I think we've learnt now over the last 20 years, licenses mean more than gameplay. It's good that EA did, 5, 6, 7, hell, maybe 8 years ago now, whenever it was. It was good that they, actually went to task with FIFA and made it a good game, because it was awful at one point. I remember playing the bad ones. But the licenses are really, that's what football fans want. That's what people, football fans like. It's almost like Call of Duty and Battlefield, right? People like Call of Duty because it feels familiar. And I think that's where we've got to with FIFA now. And the fact that it's got all the players and the kits and the leagues, it just makes, it makes people feel warm and fuzzy inside. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So, Sam, what is your plan for the rest of the week as GameComs continue to kick your ass? Is there anything you want to pimp out or tell people to come and read, given you're putting in so much work?
No, I mean, it's all news, so it's none of my own flair. I'm just sitting here crying.
Welcome to the world of games journalism.
And it's just got hot again, and I was just like, why? Why would you do this?
Today, I was really hot, and I was like, why am I so hot? And I looked at the window, I was like, oh, it's flipping boiling. I had no idea. I thought I was dying. I was like, oh, I'm just dying.
That's it. It's happening.
Yeah, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So look, I'm going to stress may because it's the bank holiday weekend and Gamescom is going to be nuts. I may try and sneak in another week of gaming once all the madness of Gamescom has gone down. Or we will check in a week today on Tuesday because I'm away for the bank holiday weekend, and we'll cover everything then. We'll go through everything, the ups, the downs, the left, the rights. I know that's sort of after the fact. Yeah, exactly. But there'll be loads for us to talk about, as there always is when it comes to exhibitions. So please do make sure you tune into that. If you don't subscribe, come subscribe. Do all that kind of stuff. Come subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, if you'd like to support the podcast, which you can, it's patreon.com/Simon316. That's how I'm able to do all of this stuff. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Simon316. If you want to come and say hi, let me know about games or whatever. And if you do want dumb YouTube game content, again, youtube.com/The Mirror Report rules. I mean, I've gone back to doing dumb game stuff now because I can't help myself. When I see people get so mad about silly things, I turn into a 12-year-old child. I get it.
Easy low-hanging fruit, just battering Zelda and Shenmue fans.
It is. It's not even that. It's almost more the reaction. I treat it like a social experiment. Do you know what I mean? That's how I kind of see it, because I can't understand how anybody can get so... This is how hilarious it is. Somebody got triggered at me for using the term triggered. I'm like, we've entered parody. We've entered South Park territory. Social media has won, and the world is going to burn to the ground. One thing I do actually think we need to talk about before we wrap up is, I think just before Gamescom started, there was a lot of Darksiders 3 previews that came out. And the one word I saw over and over again, which has made me want to never play Darksiders 3, and I quite like Darksiders 2, was the word Bayonetta. Now,
oh no,
I'm out. I got nothing against Bayonetta. I understand it's a really good video game, and I respect the everyone that loves that game. I know people that are really passionate about it. I don't like what are those games called? Not beat 'em ups. What's the action games? Whatever you want to call it. There's a specific term. Whatever you want to call them, they are not for. They're not for me, and it's a shame because I like Darksiders 2. It felt more like a sort of a stereotypical platform adventure game, and that was more the kind of thing that I wanted. So the fact that it's gone this direction, there's Devil May Cry, don't like that. There's Bayonetta. It's just not my thing. But that's just more me saying it's not the. That's not what I need.
Also, before we go, since we last spoke, Spyro got delayed, didn't it?
I thought we talked about that. Did we not talk about that last week?
Didn't talk about the delay. I've been talking about how much it's great.
Oh, maybe I just got confused.
Delay.
Well, maybe we didn't, but it has got delayed. It got delayed a month, right? No, 2 months.
A bit. So late September to November 13th.
How are you coping with it?
I'm not angry. I'm more just
like a mum.
Basically. I assume it's because everyone was kicking off about the first game being on the disc and the other two being download. I can only assume, but who knows? I'd rather that infamous quote about like rather have a finished game than
exactly the Miyamoto one, than a broken one.
Yeah. So I'm fine with it, but just want it. That's all I want.
Did they literally just delay it because they didn't think it was sort of finished?
Yeah, it was. That classic line like, "Oh, it just needed a bit more love and care, or a bit more polish, or whatever." So who knows?
Well, it's soon, Sam. Soon you'll be able to.
Spider-Man's before then, so we're all good.
Exactly. It's a month away, Sam. A month. That's it. That's nothing. Less than a month, right?
I'm so hyped.
When's it coming out? I can't remember. Spider-Man
September 7th.
Yeah, less than a month. Geez, 7 weeks. Literally weeks. So we're going to do a big episode about that. Okay, definitely get in touch and let us know if you're enjoying Gamescom or whatever. Just keep enjoying it. Announcements are coming out thick and fast, and it can be quite stressful, but at the same time, it's fun. It's fun to sort of sit back and let all this stuff smash you in the face. Sam, as always, thank you very much for joining me.
It's always my pleasure.
Indeed. And like I say, I think we'll be back next Tuesday next week because I maybe had to squeeze one in Monday, but I've got to come back from the northern part of this country. But I'll let you know. If not, it'll be Tuesday. It'll always be Monday or Tuesday or something like that. But thank you very much for listening. It's not YouTube, but like, share, subscribe. Like it in your head, share it on the internet, and subscribe to iTunes. That doesn't make any sense. Thank you for listening to The Week of Gaming. My name is Simon Miller, and I will chat to you again very soon.